Welcome back to Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, a Game of Thrones. Yes, I'm back now. Finally, it's been close to a year I've been away, and I'll tell you the story of what happened. Basically, my PS4 broke a year ago, and I lost all my characters just as soon as I was getting into the meat of Jon Snow's playthrough on Dynasty Warriors, the Empire mode. Now, I've explained everything in the previous 7 videos about how this game works and how it relates to Game of Thrones and what fun you can possibly get from watching me do this playthrough. This creative playthrough, since I created half of the game myself, like in a way, if you want to say that. But yeah, let's get into it. Let me show you guys what I've changed, because this is all new stuff. I have to basically restart again because I lost all my data, all my files, everything. So you can imagine it wasn't easy. But this is all new stuff. Let's go straight into the scenario. So I've obviously remade some of the stuff that I made before, but also I've added some new things, and I'll show you what that is. I've even changed the title a little bit. Before, if you watch my previous turning China into Westeros video, I called this a Game of Thrones, a Clash of Kings. But now I've changed the title to just simply Game of Thrones, and I got rid of the Clash of Kings. It's still starting from Season 2, Clash of Kings Book 2. So basically, the description is: King Robert's death ascended his bastard Joffrey to the throne. Westeros erupts into civil war due to his illegitimacy. So you got it there. Change the territories around a bit. Again, if you go back and check out my turning China into Westeros video, like the Starks were like more at the top, but I've moved them about just a little bit. Not much has changed apart from that. So I've got one section of the Stark Kingdom in the green here, close to the Lannister Kingdom, so the Lannisters and the Starks can fight each other at the start of the playthrough, like they do in the books and the TV show. So it's more accurate that way. So I put the Tullys behind the Starks, or at least a Stark vanguard, you could say, and they could probably join forces, or they might end up fighting each other. Who knows what could happen? And I've got the Boltons just here behind the Starks here, so they could like betray the Starks and attack here and see what happens. They could attack the Tullys, take over the Tullys as well. And then you got the Freys here on the far right, like they were. Everywhere else is pretty much the same, so I suggest you watch my turning China into Westeros video, because everything else is pretty much the same. Daenerys is here, Grey Worm is here. But I've added other characters that weren't in my previous playthrough, like Kinvara, who's a TV show only character, and she's appeared in season 6. I've added Patchface, you can see there with Stannis. He's a crazy clown book character that was omitted from the show. And I've added Marcella Lannister, or Baratheon, whichever one you want to go with. And I've added Tommen Baratheon as well. Tommen's actually in Castle Rock, who's watching on the far west here. So because obviously Tommen becomes king in this TV show and the books, I thought they're more important characters. I doubt Tommen will become ruler of the Lannister kingdom anytime soon in this game, but I really doubt it. Tywin and Cersei have more chance of that, but I don't know how the game works when the ruler disappears and another ruler takes over. But yeah, so if you want to learn more about this world, check out the previous videos in this playlist, specifically turning China into Westeros. I always say it the wrong way around, sorry. Yeah, let me go back and show you some cool stuff that I've added that wasn't in the previous playthrough. So you've got all the banners here. Oh, that's some other stuff there. Like, you've seen half of these banners before in the previous setup video, but there's some new ones. I'll show you the new ones. We've got the Tyrell banner. Before it was Renly's banner, but I've decided to make it more Tyrell focused. Renly was a king for such a short time in the show and the books that the Tyrells are far more prominent and far more important. So I think the Tyrells will be better placed here. The Tullys, that's always been there. And Faith of the Seven. I've got the Faith of the Seven in there. So like, after seeing the High Sparrow just flipping manipulate and dominate like most of season 6, I just had to put the High Sparrow in there, even though this is starting from book 2 season 2. my playthrough, and obviously the Faceless Men, where Arya has, if you're up to date, she's currently on her way out of the Faceless Men, but I put them in there. There's only 3 people in that group anyway: the Waif, the Kindly Man, who's not in the show but he's in the books, and Jack and Hagar. So that's their vagabond unit. I've explained what a vagabond unit and how this war game works, basically. If you watch my previous videos, the setting up videos, so they're all there. I'll show you some of the new characters I've added into this. You've seen most of all these characters in my character breakdown of who's going to take part in this massive war. But the characters you haven't seen, the newer characters, let me see if I can get them. Marcella, but you probably won't see her much in the thing anyway. She's like more of a free officer kind of character. We've got Cold Hands, who's obviously just shown up in the show, Benjen Stark. Like, I've made him look like Benjen Stark. I can't really see it underneath the hood, but at the same time I've just called him Cold Hands. So, like, because apparently in the books Benjen Stark isn't Cold Hands, according to George R. R. Martin. If he's not lying, and he hasn't lied yet, Benjen is Cold Hands is someone else in the book. So I've covered his face and just called him Cold Hands, so the book readers can pretend he's someone else. But at the same time, I've made him look like Benjen, but I haven't called him Benjen, so then it can kind of, the show watchers can kind of relate to it at the same time. Bloodraven, he wasn't in my previous playthrough, I've created him, and he's in a vagabond unit with like Leaf and other children of the forest, as you can see here. Jack and Hagar, he was in my previous playthrough, but he was a free officer, but now he's part of the Faceless Men with his new attire here. The Waif, obviously, these 3 are all in the Faceless Men vagabond unit. The Kindly Man is a character from the books that's in the Faceless Men. He's the one that teaches Arya how to become a faceless man rather than Jaqen does, but they made in the show version they made it Jaqen, which because it makes more sense, or not even because it makes more sense, but just because you know Jaqen and you can relate to Jaqen better. You've seen him enough times. Patchface, a crazy insane clown that's usually with Stannis Baratheon, and he's usually with Shireen, weirdly enough. He usually says some crazy prophecies that end up coming true in the books. John Connington and Aegon, and Sir Duck, now they are in their own little vagabond unit led by Aegon. Guess what Aegon's last name is? People that don't know, Targaryen. He wasn't in my previous playthrough, but since I've added, this playthrough is supposed to go all the way up until like the end of the story, so I thought I'd add as many characters as I can that are in the later books, because it's just more interesting that way. So anyway, Aegon Targaryen is apparently the son of Rhaegar Targaryen, Daenerys' oldest brother, who died at the sack of King's Landing. Oh no, who died at the Trident, but Aegon died at the sack of King's Landing, or supposedly died, because he was one of the children that the Lannisters killed and mutilated, or should I say the Mountain more personally did it himself. But yeah, if you look at Aegon Targaryen, basically he's Daenerys' nephew, though there are rumours in the books that he might not be who he says he is, but he has the white hair and he has the purple eyes in the books, and he wants to, join up with Daenerys and possibly marry his auntie. Funnily enough, that's what the Targaryens do anyway, so that's normal. He wants to marry his auntie and then take over Westeros with her, but at the same time he doesn't want to beg her for it. He wants her to realise that he's the king and she's a queen. I don't know if Daenerys is going to go for that. Daenerys don't want to take no shit from no man. Biggest feminist ever, but yeah, Aegon wants to have a shot at trying to get Daenerys himself. And because they're related and he's an actual Targaryen, who knows what Daenerys, she might just be like, yeah, sure. Or she might just be like, nah, I'm enjoying being powerful, fuck off Aegon. But anyway, yeah, so I put Aegon in there. John Connington was a Targaryen loyalist from the Robert's Rebellion. He got exiled by King Aerys Targaryen, Aegon's grandfather. So he got exiled, and despite being exiled by Aerys Targaryen, he's still very loyal to the Targaryen name, and he wants to help Aegon get his rightful claim to the throne. And what's really interesting is that Tyrion in the books isn't even with Daenerys like he is in the show. Tyrion in the books is actually with Aegon, and so is Varys. Varys is on Aegon's side as well. So they've obviously changed that around in the show to make them be on Daenerys' side. But obviously I don't know how this is going to go, because right now, at the start of my game, Tyrion and Varys are in the Lannisters, or King's Landing rather. They're with the Lannisters, the Lannister Kingdom, King's Landing, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so I've obviously updated some of this. It's going to be a lot more fun, and more interesting characters are involved, like Kinvara, for example. Where is she? She's going to be in Daenerys' crew, since like she's been recruited by Tyrion in the show. In the books, it's actually a male Red Priest rather than a female Red Priestess. But I made the show version because one, she's more recognizable, and two, she's fucking sexy. she's hot as fuck. So I'd rather make the show version. I'd rather make that version. But yeah, that's it. So let's get right back into it. I'm gonna kick off with let's get right into it. Actually, let me just go into this now. Right, here we go. Game of Thrones. King Robert's death ascended his bastard Joffrey to the throne. Westeros erupts into civil war due to his illegitimacy. I don't know why it's all messed up there. It's all messed up, but you can see all the kingdoms, just like the start of the previous one that I did. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to pick Jon Snow like I did before, but I'm going to play a couple of fights, get myself up in the ranks a bit so you're not re-watching me do the whole thing again, and then we'll start off from there. I'm just telling you all this beforehand so you know the situation. It's not like I've just taken a whole year out for no reason and then gone back into the game. Like, I had to literally create all these characters all over a fucking game, and you guys better watch this and appreciate it. But anyway, I'm going to be Jon Snow, and yeah, let's go. But like I said before, I'll start this off. You'll see me start this off around the time where I've just basically where I left it off, where Jorah Mormont and Jon Snow became brothers, sworn brothers in the storyline. But I'm gonna level up Jon a bit, win a couple of battles. Hopefully, not too much will change. I'll still record it, and if any significant things happen, like while I'm trying to bring Jon Snow back to where we last left off. If anything happens, I'll make sure I show you guys in between. But let's fast forward to Jon Snow where we last left off. Let's go!